The hits.
It's 6 o'clock at Deleke. First, the headlines. Buhari congratulates ex-minister Kuye at 80. On elections, IGP orders arrest of individuals, groups with prohibited firearms. 21.76 million Nigerians unemployed in 2020. Akinyele killing set to join Stoke City on one-year deal. Now the news in detail. A former minister for Commerce and Industry, Senator Jubril Martin Kuye, on his 80th birthday. Buhari commended what he called Kuye's consistency in calling for the strengthening of democratic values and promoting good governance. His congratulatory message was contained in a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, titled President Buhari hails Chief Jubril Martin Kuye at 80. The statement read, President Muhammadu Buhari today congratulates former Minister for Commerce and Industry, Senator Jubril Martin Kuye, on his 80th birthday, August 16, 2020, saluting his decision to serve in the nation at both state and national levels. The president joins family members, friends, and political associates in celebrating the milestone heralded by many years of serving the country as Minister for Commerce and Industry, Minister of State, Finance, and as a legislator. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Muhammadu Adamu, has ordered the Commissioners of Police in the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory to identify and arrest any individuals or groups in possession of prohibited firearms. The IGP's directives come as part of preparations towards the forthcoming governorship elections in Edo and Ondo states, as well as efforts by the Police High Command to curb the proliferation of prohibited firearms in the country. A statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, Force Headquarters, DCP Frank Mba, says the Inspector General of Police, IGP Muhammad Adamu, has ordered commissioners of police in the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory to immediately initiate appropriate actions to identify, isolate, disarm, arrest, and prosecute any individuals or groups in possession of prohibited firearms. DCP Mba said that the directive has become necessary against the backdrop of the deliberate arming and movement of political thugs and other criminal elements across the country. In addition, the directive is targeted at addressing the proliferation and unlawful possession of prohibited firearms in the country, which is contrary to the provisions of the Firearms Act. In a similar vein, commissioners of police in all the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT have been directed to immediately convene on an enlightenment meeting of all vigilante groups and quasi-security outfits spread across the country in order to ensure that their activities are in conformity with the extant law guiding their establishment and operations. The statement further added that the IGP, while observing that several civil groups, vigilantes, quasi-state and regional security outfits under various guises are arming themselves with prohibited firearms and weapons in contravention of the provisions of the Firearms Act. The aspiration of the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, Prince Uche Secondus, for a second term in office has sparked a fresh struggle for the soul of the party by various interest groups. His current tenure is due to expire in December, but with 4 months to go, prominent power blocks are said to have begun consultations and meetings on how to ensure that the next NWC of the party is manned by their own people. Secondo's re-election bid, well-placed party sources said, is already been opposed by some prominent PDP leaders and chieftains who prefer a new person at party ahead of the 2023 elections. Governors, former presidential aspirants of the party and other leading lights of the party are among those gearing up to work against the re-election of Secondos. But the PDP chairman still enjoys the backing of some other party chieftains who want him to lead them to the next elections. On his side, according to the sources at the political camp of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, a couple of governors, National Assembly members, and majority of the members of the current NWC. Sources said opposition to Secondo's second term may not be unconnected with allegations in some quarters that he favored and still favors the Atiku political camp more than any other blocs within the party. The statement read, "You shouldn't be surprised if you discover that governors like Nyesom Wike of Rivers State and Aminu Tambuwa of Sokoto, among others, are opposed to the second-term ambition of our chairman." The source said a looming intra-party struggle over who becomes the national chairman of the party is already an issue of concern among party leaders. The National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) says the total of unemployed Nigerians is 21,764,617. The statistics are contained in the Bureau's Labor Force Statistics website entitled Unemployment and Underemployment Report, second quarter 2020, released in Abuja. It referred to the report as an abridged labor force survey under COVID-19 for August 2020. The unemployment rate during the period in reference represented a 27.1% rise from the 23.1% recorded in the third quarter of 2018. A statement read, "A rise in unemployment generally means the number of people searching for jobs has increased, which can occur because people previously outside the labor force have decided to join the labor force and now in search of jobs." According to the report, the total number of people in employment during the reference period is 58,527,276. The statistic of those employed showed a 15% reduction in employment in the third quarter of 2020. Members of Independent Petroleum Marketers of Nigeria in Anambra State have threatened to shut down operations on August 25 across the state. The impending strike is in solidarity with the private oil and gas company and also an IPMAN member being owed 13.6 million naira for petroleum products is supplied to a transport company of Anambra State since 2017. IPMAN had on August 4 issued a 21-day ultimatum to the state government to pay off the debt and also address other issues raised by the association. Speaking to newsmen today in Awka, Chinedu Anayaso, who is the chairman of IPMAN, Enugu Depot, said the shutdown would be total until all conditions are met. Chinedu also said apart from the debt payment, his members were resisting any form of tax or levy increase by the government as the economy did not currently support such additional burden on businesses. The Oyo command of the Nigerian police force today announced the prime suspect arrested for series of killings in Akinyele area of the state has escaped from its custody. The suspect, Sunday Shodipe, 19, was arrested and paraded along two others at the command headquarters, Eleyele Ibadan, on July 17 and charged to court. He was later remanded in police custody, where he was said to have escaped on August 11. Confirming the development in a statement on behalf of the Commissioner of Police, Joe Enyowu, the command's public relations officer, Olubenga Fadeyi, urged members of the public to be on the lookout for the suspect and contact men and officers of the command for useful information that can lead to his rearrest. He urged youths and mobs who get angry upon the arrest of the suspected criminals to desist from unleashing jungle justice but hand over such to the police. He further stated that he seizes this opportunity to appeal to any member of the public with credible information as to the whereabouts of the assailant not to hesitate in passing the same to the Oyo State Police Command to assist in the apprehension of the offender, who is now at large. The Nigerian Railway Corporation says it will commence skeletal operation on the Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge rail line from the middle of September, with trips daily to Olodo, Omiadio, and Ibadan. The managing director of the Nigerian Railway Corporation, Fidet Okriya, disclosed this to newsmen in Ibadan during an inspection tour of the project by the Ministers of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, and Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed. Okriya said that since the track lane had been completed between Ebute Meta Junction in Lagos and Ibadan, with stations under construction, operations will start between Yaba in Lagos and Ibadan. Speaking on the completion time for the project, the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, said they were targeting January 2021 if COVID-19 will not be a restraint to the workers. The minister admonished the Chinese contractor handling the project to speed up the work on the construction for timely delivery. Now sports. Former Nigerian Super Eagles captain John Obi Mikel is a free agent after leaving Turkish side Trabzonspor by mutual consent in March. Earlier this week, the Nigerian told newsmen that he was open to a return to English football. Mikel made 249 Premier League appearances for Chelsea in an 11-year spell, which ended when he left Stamford Bridge in 2017. He won the Champions League and the Europa League, 2 Premier League titles, 3 FA Cups, and the league title with the London side. After leaving Stamford Bridge, he joined Chinese side Tianjin Teda and had a brief spell at Middlesbrough in 2019. Mikel won 89 caps for Nigeria, playing in 2 World Cups and helping the Super Eagles win the 2013 African Cup of Nations before announcing his retirement from international football last summer. Championship side Stoke, who won 3 of their last 4 games in 2019-2020 season to pull away from relegation trouble and finish 15th under former Northern Ireland boss Michael O'Neill, is set to join on a free transfer. And that wraps up the Yes News Now on Yes Media Academy Radio. But before I leave, a recap of the headlines. Buhari congratulates ex-minister Kuye at 80. On elections, IGP orders arrest of individuals, groups with prohibited firearms. MBS says 21.76 million Nigerians unemployed in 2020. Akinyele killing's prime suspect escapes. Now sports, Mikel set to join Stoke City on 1-year deal. The news was produced and edited by Olatunde Idowu and delivered by Okpe Adeleke. Many thanks for staying with us.
Everything.